morning friends, welcome here or welcome back to another video. I have had quite the hectic week and I have been craving a super cozy day surrounded by books. That just sounds absolutely perfect to me. So I've spent my morning reading a little bit more of My Hygge Home by Mike Viking. I'm really enjoying this. I feel like it's such a lovely way to start my day, just looking at an absolutely gorgeous book filled with just beautiful photographs and illustrations and even diagrams, and it's just such a lovely way to learn more information about coziness and hygge, which I love, especially coming into these darker seasons. It's just exactly what I want to be reading, and it's been a long time since I've read a non-fiction book that's just kind of feel good. I feel like a lot of the time I feel a pressure to read something that is educational, and I forget that things like this can also be incredibly educational and fulfilling and teach me so much. So I've been absolutely loving cracking into this in the mornings, in the evenings, and it was just the perfect way to start today. So for the rest of today, I, again, as I said, just want to have a really cozy day full of books. And I was given some gift vouchers, some book tokens to spend for my birthday, and I still haven't spent them. So I would love to head into town and maybe do some book browsing, maybe some book shopping if I find something that I really want to get. I have been eyeing up a very specific poetry collection, but it's more winter based, so I'm not sure whether I'll be able to find it just yet, but I'm certainly going to have a look. I want to pop into a cozy cafe and get a delicious drink, maybe even a little sweet treat, we will see. And that's kind of all I have planned for out and about. For the rest of today, I kind of just want to cozy up either on the sofa or maybe even in bed and make a really hygge home and just sit and cozy up and read my book. So the book I have on the go at the moment is the book that I picked for book club this month, and that is Wicked by Gregory Maguire. I've never read the book for this. I love the songs from the musical, but I've never seen the musical, and in anticipation of the film coming out in November, which I am definitely going to go and see, I thought it was about time that I read the book. And I'm only about, 70 pages into the book, and it's not what I anticipated it being like so far. So I'm excited to see where it goes, and I really want to put in some solid reading hours today and see if I can hit the 100 page mark, maybe even the 150 page mark. We'll see. So these are my two books that I shall be reading today, and I also thought this afternoon I might catch you up on some of the incredible books that I've been reading recently, like a really mini reading wrap up for, I suppose, end of September and into October, because I think I've read 4 books and they've all been fantastic in their own ways. So that is the vague outline of today, I think. We'll see where the day takes us. There'll always be something that goes a bit rogue, I'm sure. For right now, I'm gonna finish my peppermint tea and get ready to go out into the big wide world and find some books. I started feeling super anxious. It all started when I was leaving the house and I realised that I never remembered to put my book back in my bag. So my whole idea of curling up in a nice cosy cafe and reading my book went straight out the window. I did, however, go to Waterstones, as you've seen, and I didn't buy anything. They didn't have quite what I was looking for, but I did find so many books that I would love to check out in the next few months or so. There are so many incredible books, and it just felt so lovely to be surrounded by all of these new stories that I had no idea about until today. Then I travelled to a much smaller independent bookstore in Manchester called the House of Books and Friends, which is one of my all-time favourite bookstores, and I thought that they might have what I was looking for, and again they didn't, but I found other books that have stolen my heart and I think maybe I'll have to go back for. And I did think about getting a cup of coffee or something there, but they were incredibly busy, which was, I suppose, not unexpected, but it usually isn't that busy in town. So I started feeling quite overwhelmed. Everywhere started getting really busy the closer to lunchtime it got, and yeah, I just decided to come home and reset for the afternoon. So I've made myself a cup of tea, and I've also got a cheese toasty, put some chutney inside. George made some red pepper hummus yesterday, so I've got some of that with some carrot sticks, and I put a little bit of the Frank's hot sauce in there as well. And I've put it on my most beautiful plate as a little pick-me-up because I just feel like I need to eat something and feel nourished and read my book and cozy up for this afternoon. So that's the plan now. As I said this morning, things so often do go a little bit rogue. So right now I'm actually gonna eat this and relax for 20 minutes or so. Maybe I'll pop a YouTube video on or something, and then I'm gonna check back in with you and talk you through some of the books that I've been loving recently. All right then, as promised, I'd love to share with you some of the books that I've been reading and loving for the past nearly month. So as I mentioned this morning, I have been loving My Hygge Home by Mike Viking, and I also just finished reading on audiobook The Little Book of Hygge, also by Mike Viking, and they have been just so lovely to have something a little bit different as a non-fiction book that just really speaks to my soul about coziness and creating a really warm, wonderful environment for yourself, for your friends, for your family, especially in this autumn season and thinking ahead towards winter time. So I've been really loving this. As I said, I finished The Little Book of Hygge, and I'm about a third of the way through My Hygge Home. And if you are interested in those kinds of things, which I feel like you might be if you're watching my videos, then these are so lovely to dip into. I'm pretty sure that these are the only non-fiction books that I've been reading lately. I have been reading a lot of cozy fantasy reads other than Prophet Song by Paul Lynch, which I talked about in one of my previous videos. So I read the second book in the, oh gosh, what's the name of the trilogy? I can't remember. The first book is called Once Upon a Broken Heart, and the second book is The Ballad of Never After by Stephanie Garber, and it wasn't quite as incredible to me as the first one was, but it was so lighthearted and whimsical and magical, and it really just filled that void of like a super cozy romantic fantasy world. I just think it's so lovely. It has a real fairy tale quality to it, and I'm actually gonna wait and read a third one a little bit further into the winter time because it just, I don't know what it is about it, but it just seems to have this like frosty, magical, whimsical element to it. I don't know, I just always think of that kind of Christmas magic for that kind of book, even though there's no mention of Christmas in it. So I'm gonna save that, I think, for December or January reads, but the second book is still good. And I think it's a good sign where even if a book hasn't blown you away entirely, you still want to read the one that comes after. So I really enjoyed that one. I also listened to, on audiobook, A Lady's Guide to Scandal by Sophie Irwin, which is a Regency-inspired novel about a young widow who kind of is finding herself again in society. It kind of reminds me a little bit of Persuasion, in that one gentleman is kind of this long lost lover from her past, and another is a man who is seemingly very bad for her from the outset. But yeah, it's just that really funny Regency romance vibe. I totally would recommend that if you like Jane Austen, if you like Bridgerton. It's got that kind of nice hybrid of the two, of the humour, but it isn't spicy at all. It's very demure, very considerate, but it was just a really fun time. I also read the very hyped The Spell Shop by Sarah Beth Durst, and I can see why it was hyped up. If you like Legends and Lattes, you'll absolutely love The Spell Shop. It's a cosy, relatively high fantasy actually book, but is just about found family and a sense of belonging, and then it also has just a really lovely romance as well. If you are looking for a cozy read about books and you like fantasy and you like a little bit of romance too, it was so heartwarming to read. And then lastly on my list is The Witch Would Not by Olivia Atwater, which if you watched my kind of preparing for autumn video, you'll already know that I accidentally bought the large print copy. So this was really nice to read at night actually, because I was not straining my eyes at all. But yeah, this was so enjoyable to read. I think I still preferred Half a Soul, which is the Regency fairy tale series that Olivia Atwater writes. This is her slightly more gothic in tone Victorian fairy tale series, but it still definitely has that cozy narrative voice, that sense of fairy tale and humour, and yeah, it was really a fun read. I can see why so many people have also been looking forward to reading this. So yes, I really liked the portrayal of the Fae as always, and I think that's everything that I read. Not too many books this time, but they were all so cozy and heartwarming and lovely reads that I just wanted to share. If you've been on the fence about reading any of them, I really enjoyed them. So if you like other books that I've recommended in the past, I feel pretty positive that you will also enjoy them. So as I said, this afternoon, I just want to cozy up with a hot cup of tea and make a big dent in my book, which, as I said earlier, is Wicked, especially because I completely forgot to bring it out and about with me, so I feel like I'm running behind, even though I'm not. It's funny that, isn't it, how when you have plans to do something and they don't go quite according to how you had envisioned it, your brain just starts creating all of these scenarios and telling you that you have to keep up, when really reading is a hobby that I really like to make time for, and I still get to do that this afternoon. So that is the plan. Hello friends, it is actually the next day. So from where we left off when I last spoke to you, I had an incredible cozy day of reading. We made some dinner and just chilled out, and video editing from me, which is when I realised I didn't quite finish off this video. But because yesterday I didn't get the opportunity to go to a cozy cafe, George and I decided to go to one this morning. We went to one which had been very highly recommended by our friends, and it was actually so lovely in there. The atmosphere was very hygge, and it was just a really lovely spontaneous morning coffee date. So I got my cozy cafe fix in the end. There is just nothing like a cozy day of books and coffee and reading, and I have had such a lovely time filming this video. So thank you so much for spending this time with me, and I actually really quickly want to say a huge thank you to everybody who has been watching my videos. I have very recently become an official YouTube partner, which means that this channel has the opportunity to become monetized, which is something that I didn't expect to happen so quickly, and is such an incredible blessing and opportunity. So whether you have been watching from when I first started making these videos almost 2 years ago, or whether this is your first video of mine, thank you from the bottom of my heart so much for being here. It means the world that you choose to spend your time with me and my videos, and I just can't thank you enough. It just feels so special to me that my hobby of making these videos has broadened to the point where we have this cozy community, this safe space where I hope you all feel a degree of comfort and calm when you visit, and it is just the most incredible feeling. It's so hard to put into words. I have to go and get on with the rest of my day and do some work and finish editing this video, but thank you so much for being here, friends. If you haven't already subscribed, please take a moment to hit the subscribe button below. I'd love to see you back here again. I hope you've enjoyed today's video, friends. Take care, and I will see you very soon in another one. Goodbye.